Hey, this is Matt with Knob and Tube. I'm gonna give you a special behind the scenes look at what a knob and tube inspection looks like. Come have a look. Welcome to a knob and tube inspection. I'm gonna walk you through what a typical inspection looks like so that when you call us, you'll have an idea what we're doing at your house to figure out if you have live knob and tube, and then how much it'll eventually cost to replace the knob and tube. Come inside. I like starting at the main panel, which is usually in the garage. So follow me down to the garage. It's always a little bit of an adventure to try to find the main panel. So let's go look for it. Yep, here it is. So we have got a panel that is 100 amps and it looks like a new panel. I will take a picture of it for my records. Okay, and then it's also in a good code compliant location. Okay, this looks like a newer panel. It was made by Murray, which is an insurable brand, so no problems here with the brand. Take off the faceplate here, and I'm looking for indications of knob and tube wiring connecting directly to the circuit breakers, and we don't see any. So the panel is good, and there's no existing knob and tube at the panel. So we're gonna go continue our inspection at the outlets and the switches in the house. We've got my voltage tester here. I'm touching the knob and tube wiring, and that sound indicates that it's a live knob and tube wired circuit here. This is the best example of knob and tube wiring in a house, okay? We're in the garage. We never see completely exposed knob and tube wiring running down the post of this garage, okay? So we've got an outlet right here. It's a two-prong outlet, which automatically you know that it's knob and tube because there's not a third prong, which is where the ground would go. So we've got two prongs, one for the hot, one for the neutral. It's coming out of the junction box. It's running right up the post to the porcelain knob, continuing to a second porcelain knob, to a third porcelain knob, and then goes to the ceiling joist, and then goes back to a junction box where it connects to the main panel. Okay, this is exactly what knob and tube looks like inside the walls of homes built before 1960. This is knob and tube right here. So it comes out of the junction box right here. So this conduit is going all the way back to the main panel. And so the wires coming out of the main panel are coming into this junction box and then tying into knob and tube wiring. And the knob and tube wiring is going up these conduits into the rest of the house. All right, this house was built in 1936. You can see how they used the knob and tube wiring, and they ran it right under the joists in the ceiling. And so wherever you see those porcelain tubes, here's some, you can see the wires just being held in place by the porcelain tubes, okay? And then you'll see it connect to junction boxes where it distributes the conductors throughout the rest of the house. So we're gonna go upstairs, we're gonna open up some junction boxes and outlets and switches, and then you'll see the knob and tube wiring behind it. So check this out. We're looking at this light switch, okay, that controls the light fixture right in the center of the room. But you can see the color is black. And whenever we see black around outlets or switches, it's always a possible indication that there's electrical arcing going on, okay? Arcing is also a symptom of an electrical system where there is no ground wire. And so when there is a surge in the power, that surge had nowhere to go. So we're gonna open this up, and I'm pretty certain we're gonna find knob and tube wiring behind it. We just opened up this light switch, which controls the center light fixture in this room. Usually the center light fixtures in homes built before 1960, they're almost always knob and tube wiring. So we opened it up, pulled out the switch, and you can see the cloth covered conductor right here and the cloth loom in the back where the wire comes in from. And then with my voltage tester, we can see that it is live since it's beeping. We'll just turn it on again. And that indicates that we have a live circuit going to this light switcher. We're now in the kitchen doing this inspection, and we've got a three-prong outlet that's also a GFCI outlet. We've already opened it up for you, but you can see that there is knob and tube wiring behind this outlet, which indicates that there was a two-prong outlet here at one point. It was replaced to a three-prong outlet. That's also a GFCI outlet, but it's not actually a grounded outlet. And you can see that. We're gonna put in our tester right now, and let's see if it's grounded. It's not going in there. We'll try this one over here. There we go. So the light in the middle indicates that there's power, but since there is not the ground light being illuminated, it shows that there is no ground wire. So this outlet was improperly installed because there is no ground wire to actually ground this outlet. Okay, so we're now at the top floor of this house. This is an example of a light switch with knob and tube. Okay, so we've got the Decora style light switch, which has power, the light's turning on, but you can clearly see the knob and tube wiring behind it. What you can also see is that the junction box is metal, and metal boxes were used with knob and tube wiring. So here's an example of a three-prong outlet, and you would expect it to be a grounded outlet, but in fact, it's got knob and tube wiring with no ground wire. So it is not grounded, and I'll use my tester again to demonstrate that there's no power running through the ground. And you can see that it's only a center light indicating it's not grounded. We just finished up the inspection. There's knob and tube throughout the entire house. Okay, so we're gonna come on site. We're gonna help the seller out and help them make this house ready for market by replacing all the old knob and tube wiring, replace it with Romex, patch, paint the walls, and then make it insurance ready so buyers can get insurance and move in right after close of escrow.